for you. Diesels are dirty. I'm trying to clean up this intake manifold, and it is absolutely disgusting. It's just like this nasty soup of, I don't know, I guess you would call it the fruits of the EPA. I don't know if this is emissions stuff or what, but it's brutal. It is disgusting. This carbon deposit stuff, I'm not sure if it's the exhaust gases being recirculated or something with the emissions. I don't know, but it's gross. We got to clean it up. It's definitely hindering performance. I don't know how much of this stuff we can get rid of. Brandon's kind of the TDI expert, but I'm hoping we can get rid of whatever it is that's doing this. All right, let's see how much nastiness there is in here. This is actually not too bad. I've seen it where there's a little pinhole right here. So, I don't know, got a little bit of cleaning up to do, but overall not too bad. I called up my buddy Chad, Volkswagen mechanic, and I was just like, how is this possible that this is this awful to clean? He says, dude, just start it on fire. All right, so this thing has been soaking in brake cleaner and degreaser. So I don't really know how this is gonna go. So I'm gonna step back a little bit. Basically these carbon deposits are fuel, just diesel fuel. So we just gotta get it going, I guess, and it'll burn. And it'll burn all this shit off of here. All right, well that's no fun. Let's see if we can make this a little bit more interesting. What's in the box? Got a present for you. Got a present for you. You love this.
I swear to God.
There's no dicks in the box.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Nice.
There we go. There it is.
Here, you can have this. We don't need this.
We're not using that.
We're not using that.
It's brand new.
Yeah, but we're going simplicity. Simplicity breeds reliability. So we got this is the whole. Yo, you got the whole harness. You got all the harnesses.
This is everything. I don't know how much of the harness this is, but I don't know.
Dude, you got the fuse box too. Nice. So
wow, this
is the glow plug power harness.
What's amazing is that this harness has been in this box for 20 years, so it should all be in great shape. We should have a really nice, non-weather abused harness.
What is this? This is aftermarket shit.
This is awesome.
Perfect. I was a little worried about that. I was worried that you didn't grab everything. But you got everything.
When this was taken out, the car was only 2 years old.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nice.
All this fabric is absolutely mint. We're actually making it dirtier right now by putting it on the floor.
We got a lot of shit right here, man.
Yeah, so
this is look at this. This is a real bundle. When we get done with this, you guys are gonna be blown away by how little of this will be used to make this work. Most of this is actually body harness and body control stuff on this side of the harness. Really all we're keeping off of this is this relay block. This is the ECU relay, glow plug relay. So
okay, so let me interrupt you. So this is a super simple harness that we're gonna build for this thing. It doesn't need much. However, that does beg the question of, why not just get an aftermarket harness? Why not just get like a painless wiring or something like that? Or go MTDI. Like, what is the reason for keeping this if it's so simple?
The reason is Bosch spent millions and millions of dollars. I have never seen one of these fail unless somebody shorted something out or modified something and did something wrong. These literally never fail.
Well, you just screwed us. That thing is guaranteed.
No, you're superstitious. I'm not. This is just, I have a lot of experience. These don't fail. This is, you buy
You're holding it like it's a small child, like you just, like it's, like it was handed to you out of the womb.
Yeah, because I love this stuff, because this works. This works. Have you ever done any Mega Squirt stuff?
Yes, it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Well, sometimes it does, but...
So, I've done Mega Squirt a couple of times, and you can get it to work. You can get the car to run, you can get it to work. You never, ever, ever don't have a laptop in your car, and you never, ever stop futzing with it. You're always messing around. You're always tweaking this, tweaking that, and some people like that. That's okay. Some people enjoy doing that. I do not enjoy doing that.
With TDIs, it's gonna be a one-tune, set it and forget it kind of thing. And yeah, my car's got 360,000 miles on it. I've seen them with 500,000 plus, and it just works.
I judge the quality of a motor, the way that it was built, not by the performance that it has, not by the numbers. It's how well it's able to sustain its life when poorly maintained. That, you know what I mean?
Like, TDIs are the bad maintenance champions of the world.
Exactly. That's when you know something was engineered well, is when you can abuse it and it still works. Because not like, if you look at new motors and stuff like that, there's lots of great motors out there, but as soon as you quit maintaining them, it's over.
Oh, they're so fragile. The ALH is not fragile.
What are people afraid of with wiring? Because for me, it's pretty straightforward. You've got a diagram, and it's usually a flow chart, which is you have power on the top of the diagram and ground on the bottom. And it's a flow chart, and you can look at where all the wiring goes. It's all color coded. Every wire's got a color. It all goes to this spot, and you can go, okay, well, this needs power, this needs ground. What are people afraid of?
I don't think they're afraid of anything.
Yes, they are. They're terrified of wiring. Everybody's terrified of wiring. Everybody hates wiring.
The wiring is always the worst part or weakest link.
Why?
So I'll tell you why. I've thought a lot about this, and I think it's because, so let's say you had to fasten something and the hole was tapped for an M10 1.5 bolt. You'd go get an M10 1.5 bolt, correct? Right. You wouldn't ram a 7/16 or a 3. You'd get the right bolt. With wiring,
well, most people would. Well, I've seen some.
My buddy's even just texted me. He put a helicoil in a time cert. So there are people out there. So there is a correct way and tool and item, and people think, oh, I can just slam this together with some butt connectors and a soldering iron. And the daunting part about this is when you look at like the number of unique components in this harness probably exceeds that engine.
Right.
So unique part, unique part, unique part, unique part. You go down to this and every part's a unique part. So when you go to build a harness, people totally underestimate how much time goes into it, and they totally underestimate how they need to order the absolute correct components and install them in the absolute correct way and in the correct order and test it and verify. Because one bad crimp can ruin your whole, one bad crimp and this thing doesn't run anymore.
Right.
So it's something that requires a level of attention to detail, patience, time, cleanliness, and things that most people struggle with.
All right, let's get this thing laid out on the floor and see what we got and see what we can trim down.
Disaster. This is intimidating. So what we're gonna do right now?
It's like Medusa's head.
What we're gonna do right now? Not even think about it.
Okay.
We're going to not even think about that. We're just gonna think about this. ECU, engine control, engine control. We're gonna just focus on this. And with that, I have printed out diagrams that pertain to just this, what's laid out in front of us. And luckily we have 2 of these glow plug harnesses, so we can pick the better of the 2, but set that to the side. Right now, this is all we're concerned with. Don't worry about anything else right now, just this.
What do you got going on over here?
I'm just getting my bearings straight here. So what I'm gonna start off by doing is I'm literally just gonna go through and label each connector.
Yep.
Just for a, a sanity check, because if it's in the car, you can, you go, oh, that's the map sensor, but when this is laid out, you can start to lose
your bearings a little bit.
Yeah, you're losing your bearings. So we're making a better map. So we're converting this very confusing map into a very simple map. This is an example. This is staying. We will need this wiring. What we'll end up likely doing is modifying, because the TDI in its stock form in the A4 chassis, the intercooler is in the front right corner. We're probably gonna do an intercooler on the top of the motor.
So we'll just extend the wiring.
We'll extend it or shorten, but so right now, this is just gonna stay as is. Done, that's good. So one thing's good. Only
hey, we're
49 more to go.
0.04% of the way done.
Yeah.
My whole life is basically to make your life easier. You're all set.
Wait a second.
This is great.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not complaining, but your whole life is to make my life easier. That's probably
out here. In context, when we're not out here, I don't give a shit. But
yeah, I agree. You're doing a great job, buddy. Why do I not know what this is? I should know what this is.
You're not getting crabby on me, are you?
No, I'm just, this is just tedious stuff, and tedious stuff is mentally taxing, and that.
Well, it tests patience, and I think that's one of the reasons why people don't like doing it.
Yeah, it is.
Because you have to stand there and look at it for hours.
Yeah, and I'm not great. I'm not proficient at this. I am capable of doing it correctly because I have the patience and the background and all that, but I'm not going fast. I'm not fast proficient at this.
Are you saying that if someone is patient, most people should be able to figure out if they have some sort of mechanical aptitude?
Yeah, if you have the basic understanding of what's going on and you're willing to be patient and work through every issue as it comes up, this is not above anyone's intelligence level. This is actually really dead simple stuff. It's just very, very tedious.
So what exactly are you doing right now?
So right now I'm literally just labeling what each plug is. So some of this stuff I know, like this cluster goes to the injection pump, crank sensor, number 3 injector, oil pressure.
But how are you identifying it if you didn't know?
With this diagram. So like, for example, crank sensor. We're gonna look at this plug, and we have a black, a brown, and a white wire, 3 pins. So then we come to this diagram, and we're gonna start looking through all these output connectors, and you narrow it down. You go, okay, there's 3 wires here. We got white, brown, black, engine RPM speed sensor. So, and then as a secondary check to avoid making a mistake, you should also go, okay, this engine speed RPM sensor ties to the needle lift sensor. So you look in this little chunk of the diagram right here, and you see these wires are tied together. And then you come over here and you go, here's this, here's the number 3. They're right next to each other. They're tied very closely together. So you always want to do a litmus sanity test. Dude, it's very easy to get lost.
You need me to print it out?
Yeah, VSS.
Right, print?
Print twice. Grazie, signor. That was pretty good. So we're on the small side of the ECU, And we've labeled every single item on this. Glow plug, oil, injection pump, crank sensor, number 3 injector, coolant temperature sensor, vehicle speed sensor, glow plug relay power. And then on this connector, this goes to the body harness on the Mark IV. I've broken out
What do you mean by body harness?
This goes from the ECU and it shoots information and signals and data out to this. And this connector integrates functions on the engine and the ECU with things in the vehicle body harness. And in this we have switch 12, the VSS wiring.
It's your speedometer.
Oil gauge, so that little oil light on your dash, that's how that turns on and off. This is your temp gauge.
Which one do I cut so the check engine light doesn't come on?
Oh, we're adding the check engine light in 100%. That's in the other harness. So now, one thing to note, we have this VSS wiring. We could just delete this, but I think Kris wants cruise.
Yeah, definitely. I want to have cruise control. Everything's got to work. Remember the one thing when anybody does any of these kinds of swaps, okay? Even if it's a 118 at Golf, you get in, you start it up, you're like, man, this thing runs great, and you look at the instrument cluster, it's dead. The whole thing is dead. Nothing works. The speedometer doesn't work. Cruise control doesn't work. Blinkers don't work. Nothing works because it's the hard part. It's the hard part is getting the cluster to work. And if we can have cruise control, AC. Why do we want to put the AC already worked on the truck? I don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
Gotta have AC.
So the amount of time that we're gonna spend figuring out how to integrate these wires, this is
monumental.
This is all the time right here.
Because our instrument cluster is completely analog, and this is completely digital.
So for a really simple example here, this coolant temperature output. So how a coolant temperature sensor works is it varies the resistance over an ohm range and then outputs that to a gauge. So this...
And the gauge is then calibrated for that range.
The gauge is calibrated for whatever this is outputting. We don't know what the Trooper gauge is calibrated to. So we're literally, if we want to integrate using the Volkswagen sensor, so instead of adding another sensor, which you can do, you can add the Trooper sensor and shoot that data to the Trooper gauge, or you can integrate it into the Volkswagen sensor and reduce the number of sensors, clutter, wiring, and everything else. But in order to do that, we're gonna have to look up the calibration curve for this Volkswagen gauge.
The sweep for the range has to match the sweep.
The
ohm
range has to match. So we have to make them match. Figuring this one thing out and integrating it seamlessly into the Trooper wiring it's a substantial amount of time and effort.
And one of the reasons why people don't do it is because once you get to this point, usually it's running.
Or you're annoyed, you're just done with it.
No, it's usually running by then.
Yeah,
it's
you're
running,
like,
you're like, fuck it, it's great, I don't need to do it. And then you kind of feel done. Once it runs and it drives, you kind of get over the hump, right?
The fuck it's are real. I drove my car with one seat in it for like the last 9 months because I just was like, fuck it, I'm not doing it. So yeah, it's and the VS is a lot of, it's just this is super tedious. It's just super tedious.
But it'll be done right. It's got to be done right. I don't want to half-ass any of this.
Again, this ECU is so superior to this 90s Japanese. Well, it's just you're advancing the whole technology of the vehicle.
There you go.
Okay, here's what's...
You want to hold on to it now?
Here's what's way worse. Here's the worst possible outcome. We put an electrical fan on with a aftermarket, third-party, unsealed relay, shit show, fuck show, another sense. I mean, you could probably, the way some people might do this job, they might add 4 different coolant temp sensors to this vehicle to make the gauge work, the ECU work, the fan, you know.
We don't have to do that. This will do all of it.
I want to integrate everything, and I want to... Mark IVs were very reliable Volkswagens.
It's the last reliable Volkswagen.
It was the last good, reliable Volkswagen, and we're trying to remove the unreliable, which the Japanese make great stuff, but this is outdated. We're just bringing things into the 21st?
It's the 21st century.
Yeah, what's the 20th, 21st?
We're 21st.
The 21st century, so. That's the goal.
Come say goodbye to everybody.
Aww.
That's it.
Is it really time to leave?
It's time to go.
Aww.
Hit that subscribe button, like, share, do all the stuff. He's gonna continue to do wiring. I'm gonna continue rubbing on things with a Scotch by Prad. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.